Hi, it's future me. I was editing the video and I realized that there's no intro because the clip that I used to intro this vlog, I shot it in slow motion, which I do from time to time. It's super annoying. There's a stupid button on my camera that apparently I keep pushing. I don't know what it is. So anyways, there's no intro to this because it was in slow motion. And there's no sound when I film in slow motion, apparently. Who would have thunk it? So basically, real quick, this is a reading vlog. It's spoiler free. This is for romance books, and it's reading 3 romances in a week so that you know where to start when you're trying to read romance books that are not Colleen Hoover recs. Because I feel like every time people say, like, what's a good romance, people throw out Colleen Hoover recs, and I'm not a huge fan of Colleen Hoover, which is like no offense to her or anyone who reads Colleen Hoover. I just don't prefer her books, and so this vlog was to give you guys other recommendations. And yeah, so there's 3 books, and the next clip you're going to see is me talking about finishing a book, so enjoy. Actually, I think there is a clip that's not slow motion of me reading the first book. The first book that I read is Love Redesigned, and so enjoy that. Okay. I finished. I'm gonna give this 4 stars. Lauren Asher, I don't know what it is, but I feel like she always ends strong, you know? Like, at first I was like, why is this so big? For what? For everything. That's why. It was thick for everything. For every reason that you could think of. It needed to be this thick. I do appreciate that we got a lot of insight going on into like their relationship, how they talk to each other, their relationship with their family. Like, the family was a huge component to their story. I also really loved that the Kane family made a quick appearance, if you will. And also in this, there is an extension of one of the chapters with more Kane relations in there. And that was fun. I really liked that. So I do really love this. Dahlia is going into therapy, and she's like learning all of these things on how to deal with depression and anxiety and stress and this, that, and the other, and grief and all these things. And that's wonderful. I love that that is such a huge component to this book. I also really love that you find out in the very beginning of this story that Dahlia can't have kids. Like, she can't have kids. And she struggles with that. And I love that Julian said, look, I don't want to have kids. I want to adopt. I don't want to have biological children of my own. I saw what happened with my mom. I don't want to put the woman that I love through that. Pregnancy is difficult. It's not for everyone. I really love the back and forth. I love that Julian, at every single point of where Dahlia was in her life, in her journey, in her stages, whatever, I love at every single stage Julian was there. He was very attentive. He was so positive, and not just like fake positive. Like, he was very realistically positive. Like, he was very logical in being positive. And he was able to say these things because he was like, I have the scientific evidence to back it up. Like, I have the data to back up being positive in this circumstance, in that circumstance. Like, I have the research behind it. And he was able to pull out things from her history to be able to say, like, this, that, and the other, like, this is why it's going to work out, and this is how you can trust that it's going to work out. Like, I really enjoyed that as well. So I felt like that was great. I felt like Dahlia had severe trust issues, and I was like, girl, at this point, you are telling us that you're allowed to grow and change, but no one else is. And that is very frustrating to read, where it's like, hey, you're not the only one who had the opportunity to grapple with their emotions and move forward in life. So I think we need to be a little bit more mature and move forward. That is not to say that I don't like Dahlia. I very much like Dahlia. I have friends that are Dahlia to a T, and I love them to death. I love them so much. I'm not saying that Dahlia is a bad person. I'm just saying that there needed to be a little bit more outward reflection instead of inward reflection. I think that Dahlia spent too much time doing solely in inward reflection, and I think Julian did a lot of outward reflection with her and showed her what it meant to truly love someone and put their needs ahead of yours because you love them that much. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna give this 4 stars. I really do think that Lauren Asher is one of like the queens of romance books. I feel like if you're gonna start off with a romance, this is definitely like a book that you wanna start off with, because, well, maybe not this one in particular because this is 500 pages, but if you're like somebody who's like, look, I just want a book that I can really get into, really understand these characters and everything like that, I do think that this would be a really good book to get into. I think I want to start this one next, Belladonna. I really just want to start Belladonna next because I already know King of Greed is going to grapple me, or at least I think it is. So I want to save the best one for last. So I think I want to go into Belladonna. This is kind of that like fantasy, romantasy type of thing. And I'm very excited because I've heard good things about Belladonna. I heard that it's like fun and cute and entertaining. So I'm excited to start this one. And it's like a cool cover too. So I'm excited about just, ooh, that's nice. I love that. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Oh, I never even knew. Oh my gosh. This is so morbidly cute. Look at that. I love this. This is so gorgeous. Okay, yeah. I am. This is very beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful. I love all of this. I'm excited to start it. That's so fun. I love this. I love this. That's so cute. I don't know if you could read that, but it says, there's a house in the woods with an Arthurian table and a never-ending charcuterie board. This story is for those who sat with it, I can't talk. This story is for those I've sat with at that table who make writing feel like magic. Aww. Okay. Okay, this is my next book. This is the one we're gonna start next. I am gonna take this off. Yeah, I'm gonna take it off. I can't even talk. I finished Belladonna last night. It was like 12:30 when I finished it though, so I didn't want to do an update then because my husband was sleeping, the dogs were sleeping, everybody was sleeping. So I was like, okay, I'll just like update in the morning. It's totally fine. But I finished and this was so good. I really loved just the storyline. It is a romance and it is a fantasy, and there is like a little murder mystery in there as well. So I feel as though if you are new to romance and you are not used to like the romance, like if you're not used to the romance genre, but you are a friend of the fantasy genre, I feel like you would really like this, especially like if you love a good murder mystery. I thought this was so interesting. It is about this girl, her name's Signa, and in like the very first chapter, you find out that Signa can't die, and Death himself is a character in this story. And she's not really sure what's going on. She's being passed around because she has this huge fortune that's coming to her when she turns 20 years old. At first, it's fine. She lives with her grandmother, but then her grandmother passes, and the people that take care of her are just not kind at all. And they mysteriously die. And so then she ends up at Thorn Grove, and she is not letting anyone else die. So she goes on this hunt to figure out why her cousin Blythe is in the process of dying, why her cousin, I think it's her cousin Lillian, she's already passed on. Blythe is her daughter. And so Signa's like, I'm gonna figure this out because I am not letting another person die. Like, it's just not happening. And so she goes on this little murder mystery with a stable boy named Silas, and it's so good. I really liked this. I loved everything about it. I really loved the banter. I think there's so many good quotes. Like, for instance, hold on, there's this one. I don't know where it is, but I'm pretty sure I had taken a photo of the quote. So let me see if I can find that instead, because it's so funny. Like, I swear. Yeah, okay. He inhaled a long breath. Signa got the sense that he was searching the clouds for his patience and was coming up short. Like, there's just so many good quotes in this book. There's so many good quotes in this book. And I kept laughing throughout the whole thing. I will say this is very YA. This is a YA book, but I personally prefer YA books over adult books. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really care about the smut scenes. So YA is perfect for me, but that is not to say that this is just like vanilla in the romance department. There is definitely some tension, and there is a romance, and there is things that happen, and I'm not going to give away what happens, but yeah, it's good. It's very good. And I want to read Foxglove now, you know? Like, this is excellent. This is fantastic. And I'm really excited that I'm really excited that I read it. I'm really happy that I read it. So anyways, that's our second book. Our last book that we're going to read is King of Greed. I kind of saved this one for last because it's a very short read for me. I have read her previous series before, like the other two books in this series before, and it takes me about 4 hours to read them. So I'm probably going to fly by through this one, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with that. I also really love Anna Huang's writing. I love her style. I love like a good billionaire romance. This is a billionaire romance. This is about Dominic and Alessandra Davenport. And Dominic is very wealthy. He's a billionaire, obviously. They're married, but like he has chosen his money over his wife. And so now he's got to like win her back. So I'm excited to see this one. I am also very excited because just the dedication says, to knowing your worth and never settling for less than you deserve. Like, Anna Huang, what are you gonna do to me in this book? What's gonna happen? What are you gonna do to me? I'm kind of nervous. But we're gonna read it now, and I'll probably finish it in a couple hours. First, I think I'm going to let the animals go out and put a load of laundry in, and then I'm gonna start the book. I'm just gonna put a load of laundry in because hopefully by the time the laundry is done, I will be done with the book. Oh, maybe I should make a snack too. Yeah, we'll make a snack. All right, sounds good. Okay, so I have read, I'm on chapter 21. I've read 154 pages of this book right now. I'm on 155. And I just want to say that this book, I wasn't expecting it to hit so personally for me. I wasn't expecting that. I'm gonna be honest. I was crying a lot because this book perfectly explains all of the emotions that most failed relationships go through, and it like perfectly described emotions that people feel when they are not feeling appreciated or like a priority or anything like that. Like, this was so perfect, and it was also just so perfect in how, ooh, it got dark. Sorry. It's the light from the window. Anyways, but this perfectly explains how a lot of times when women are like, you're not, you did this, you did this, you did this, and men are taking it so literally, and it's like, no, I don't care that you left the toothpaste uncovered. That's not what I care about. I care that I've already asked you to please respect this one thing, and you refuse to do it. Like, you just won't. You just will not. And that is like the major battle between Alessandra and Dominic. Dominic's like, okay, I forgot our 10-year anniversary. Like, I'll just like, you know, throw money at this problem. And Alessandra's like, it's not the anniversary. It's the significance, it's the importance, it's the fact that you knew how important it was for me, and you chose your job over it. And she says this one thing where she's like, I used to lay awake at night and think to myself, if there was a work problem and a home problem, which one would he go to? And he was like, I'd always go to you. And she's like, here's the thing though, I never trusted that. Like, I never believed that you would actually do that. And that was just like, it's heartbreaking. Like, it's hard in this book. I mean, people are not, I'm not doing well. So anyways, absolutely fantastic. It's very interesting because most romance books, right? They're single, they're strangers. It's, you know, strangers meet or they're friends, and then it turns into romance. They're not already married. They're not already in a romance. Like, they're usually starting a romance and budding from it. And I think this is so interesting because they already had their romantic story, and you kind of get that sprinkled in throughout the book with flashbacks, and I really, really enjoy that. I love it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so much better. The lighting's perfect over here because there's no like window messing it up. Anyways, I absolutely love this book. I wasn't expecting how real it was going to be. I wasn't expecting the heartbreak of it all, and I really wasn't expecting just like the emotionals, the visceral emotions that have been yanked out of these characters, and it's like so raw, and everything is so real and heartbreaking. And it's just like, it's so funny because there's this one scene where he says, oh, I thought that you didn't like this. And she's like, oh, I did it 2 years ago. And he was like, what do you mean you did it 2 years ago? Like, you've always been afraid of this. And she's like, no, I'm fine. Like, I did it. I've been unafraid of this for a while. And like, he's like searching his brain, racking his brain, being like, wow, she asked me about my trip. I didn't even ask her about hers, and she didn't give me any details. Like, she didn't say anything. And he's like going through and like remembering all the times that he's come home and she's asked about his day, and he's never once asked about hers. And he's like realizing more and more like, oh, she stopped giving me any indication of what was going on in her life when she realized that I was never going to ask her. And it's so much. It's just so much. And like my heart breaks for them. And you're like rooting for them, but you're also like kind of rooting for her to just be strong, you know, and get what she wants. Because she says over and over again, she's like, I gave up everything for you. Like, I put your career first. I put your happiness first. I put everything about you first. And I wasn't even on your list. Like, wasn't ever a priority. And he's like, that's not true. And she's like, really? You want to go there? You want to try that? We can do this. So also I really liked, because this is the third book in the series. This is the third, season 3. This is the third book in the series. And I love that we still get glimpses of the first 2 book characters. Like, I love that. I love when they pop up. And I also love that it's not just like a passing, like, they're friends. They're in each other's lives. They know what's going on and they're intertwined. And I love that. I love being able to see past characters, and like, it feels like you're hanging out with like a group of friends, and then you're like, oh my gosh, how is so-and-so? And they're like, oh yeah, they're doing great. And like, you're just, you know, it's fun. So anyways, I was only gonna read for like an hour, and then I was going to stop and like do some cleaning and stuff like that. I didn't do any of that. I just read for like 3 hours, and now I'm at page 155. So I am going to stop for a moment. And I haven't even read for 3 hours. I've read for 2 hours. I'm going to go change laundry over so that I can feel a little bit productive today. And then, I don't know, maybe I will do a dish or 2. I don't know. Probably not. I'm probably just gonna stick with the laundry thing. That makes me feel very productive. Okay, let's go do that. All right, so I finished. Wow. This book, wow. It was a little too real in some moments, in some degrees, but this was fantastic. This is probably like one of my favorite books that I've ever read by Anna Huang, like ever. This is the most important book there is in the world. I think you can stop reading once you finish this one. I read 3 books, and I think that these books are probably your starter pack for romance, to be honest with you. Like, they fit so perfectly. This is such a great book if you're looking for something that's long and will really get you deep into those emotions, understanding a person's like relationship. It's got family values, it's got humor, it's got everything that you really would want in a romance, and this is just fantastic. It's also a good slow burn. They don't kiss for the first 250 pages, so this is like a great slow burn read for people who are wanting to, you know, get into fantasy, are not really sure with what they want yet. This would be a fantastic book if you are coming from fantasy and you want to keep that fantasy element alive. It also is a great start if you are looking for something that's more YA. Maybe you just want to dip your toes into fantasy. You're not sure what's going on. This is perfect for that. I loved everything about this book. It was so fantastic. And then finally, for those who just want to dive in and find a really good fantasy book that's going to elicit every emotion that you've ever had with any romantic partner ever, this is perfect. It's got the perfect amount of romance. I mean, the perfect amount of romance. This, starting from lovers to enemies to lovers, I mean, it's just so beautifully done. It's so beautifully written. And that, I could not stress this enough. If you are wanting to get into romance, like, these are fantastic books to start with. There's other books. For instance, anything written by Emily Henry is phenomenal. You should definitely look at, you know, Happy Place, Beach Read, Book Lovers. Those are just some of the many amazing books she has written. Other books include authors like Elle Kennedy. I love a good Elle Kennedy romance. The Avalon Bay series is just so fun. And I love the Avalon Bay series because you've got the good girl complex, where you've got good girl, bad guy. And, you know, she's from this affluent, really great family, and he's got a mom who doesn't even show up half the time in his life. And then you've got Bad Girl Reputation, where you've just got two hoodlums who can't, they're like soulmates, like they just can't be away from each other. And then of course you have the latest one, which is The Summer Girl, and that is just friends to lovers, and it's beautiful. I loved that book as well. So anyways, if you're interested in getting into romance this February, the month of love, I love February. It's one of my favorite months, and it's not even just because one of my best friends was born in February, but also because I just love a good romance, and this is just the month to read it all. So if you're looking for some books, I'm hoping that you got some recs out of this. I would love to know what your favorite romance book is. If you could leave that down below in the comment section. Maybe I've read it, maybe I haven't. If I haven't read it yet, trust me, if you give me a recommendation, I probably will read it eventually. I'll get to it. Don't forget to subscribe in case you want to see more content like this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, night, or whatever, whenever you're watching it. Bye.